Steve Jobs. American entrepreneur, industrial designer. He was the co-founder, the chairman, and CEO of Apple. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. My favorite things in life don't cost any money. It's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time. Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. For the past 33 years, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. That's been one of my mantras: focus and simplicity. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple. But it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. Technology is nothing. What's important is that you have a faith in people, that they're basically good and smart, and if you give them tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. Each year has been so robust with problems and successes and learning experiences and human experience that a year is a lifetime at Apple. So this has been 10 lifetimes. You can't just ask customers what they want and then try to give that to them. By the time you get it built, they'll want something new. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It is life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. I want to put a ding in the universe. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. It's not the tools that you have faith in, tools are just tools. They work or they don't work. It's people you have faith in or not. Yeah, sure, I'm still optimistic. I get pessimistic sometimes, but not for long. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And, like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. Computers themselves, and software yet to be developed, will revolutionize the way we learn. An iPod, a phone, an internet mobile communicator. These are not three separate devices. And we are calling it iPhone. Today Apple is going to reinvent the phone. And here it is. Sometimes when you innovate, you make mistakes. It is best to admit them quickly and get on with improving your other innovations. Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying we've done something wonderful, that's what matters to me. My biological mother later found out that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would someday go to college. You know, my main reaction to this money thing is that it's humorous, all the attention to it, because it's hardly the most insightful or valuable thing that's happened to me. A lot of people in our industry haven't had very diverse experiences. So they don't have enough dots to connect, and they end up with very linear solutions without a broad perspective on the problem. The broader one's understanding of the human experience, the better design we will have. Throughout my years in business, I discovered something. I would always ask why you do things. The answers that I would invariably get are, "Oh, that's just the way things are done around here." Nobody knows why they do what they do. Nobody thinks very deeply about things in business. Creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it, they just saw something. It seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect experiences they've had and synthesize new things. Things don't have to change the world to be important. Japan's very interesting. Some people think it copies things. I don't think that anymore. I think what they do is reinvent things. They will get something that's already been invented and study it until they thoroughly understand it. In some cases, they understand it better than the original inventor. Everyone here has the sense that right now is one of those moments when we are influencing the future. I believe life is an intelligent thing, that things aren't random. Design is a funny word. Some people think design means how it looks. But of course, if you dig deeper, it's really how it works. A lot of companies have chosen to downsize, and maybe that was the right thing for them. We chose a different path. Our belief was that if we kept putting great products in front of customers, they would continue to open their wallets. We don't get a chance to do that many things, and everyone should be really excellent. Because this is our life. Life is brief, and then you die, you know? So this is what we've chosen to do with our life. When you're a carpenter making a beautiful chest of drawers, you're not going to use a piece of plywood on the back, even though it faces the wall and nobody will ever see it. You'll know it's there, so you're going to use a beautiful piece of wood on the back. Older people sit down and ask, "What is it?" But the boy asks, "What can I do with it?" The people who are doing the work are the moving force behind the Macintosh. My job is to create a space for them, to clear out the rest of the organization and keep it at bay. I've always wanted to own and control the primary technology in everything we do. Design is the fundamental soul of a man-made creation that ends up expressing itself in successive outer layers of the product or service. The iMac is not just the color or translucence or the shape of the shell. The essence of the iMac is to be the finest possible consumer computer in which each element plays together. What is Apple, after all? Apple is about people who think outside the box, people who want to use computers to help them change the world, to help them create things that make a difference, and not just to get a job done. If you're gonna make connections which are innovative, you have to not have the same bag of experiences as everyone else does. The reason that Apple is able to create products like the iPad is because we've always tried to be at the intersection of technology and the liberal arts. My model for business is the Beatles. They were four guys that kept each other's negative tendencies in check. They balanced each other. and the total was greater than the sum of the parts. We're just enthusiastic about what we do. When you're young, you look at television and think, there's a conspiracy. The networks have conspired to dumb us down. But when you get a little older, you realize that's not true. The networks are in business to give people exactly what they want. Who wants a stylus? You have to get M and put M away, and you lose M. Yuck! Nobody wants a stylus. Our goal is to make the best devices in the world, not to be the biggest. I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of, such as getting my girlfriend pregnant when I was 23 and the way I handled that. First was the mouse. The second was the click wheel. And now we're going to bring multi-touch to the market. And each of these revolutionary interfaces has made possible a revolutionary product, the Mac, the iPod, and now the iPhone. I'm an optimist in the sense that I believe humans are noble and honorable, and some of them are really smart. I have a very optimistic view of individuals. The overall point is that new technology will not necessarily replace old technology, but it will date it. By definition. Eventually, it will replace it. But it's like people who had black and white TVs when color came out. They eventually decided whether or not the new technology was worth the investment. To turn really interesting ideas and fledgling technologies into a company that can continue to innovate for years, it requires a lot of disciplines. Apple's market share is bigger than BMW's or Mercedes's or Porsche's in the automotive market. What's wrong with being BMW or Mercedes? For you to sleep well at night, the aesthetic, the quality, has to be carried all the way through. I'll always stay connected with Apple. I hope that throughout my life I'll sort of have the thread of my life and the thread of Apple weave in and out of each other, like a tapestry. There may be a few years when I'm not there, but I'll always come back.